Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and everyone, especially those on the other side of the world. There is no time and space between us. There is only this present moment, and we are one. Let us affirm again our oneness that we are one. So we now proceed with our reading and reflection from the Diary of Saint Faustina Kowalska on Diary Entry number 936. A certain person in our ward was beginning to die. Amidst terrible tortures, she was dying for 3 days, sometimes regaining consciousness. Everyone in the ward was praying for her. I longed to go to her, but Mother Superior had forbidden me to go to visit the dying, so I prayed for that poor soul in my room. But when I heard that she was still in agony, and there was no saying how long it was going to take, I suddenly felt inspired in my soul and said to the Lord, Jesus, if all I do is pleasing to you, I ask you, as evidence, to let that soul stop suffering and pass on immediately to her happy eternity. A few minutes later, I learned that the person had passed away so peacefully and quickly that they did not even have time to light the candle. Isang may sakit sa aming ward ang malapit ng mamatay. Sa gitna ng kahindik-hindik na pasakit, 3 araw na siyang naghihirap. Minsan ay bumabalik ang ulirat. Lahat ng mga nasa ward ay nagdarasal para sa kanya. Lubang nais kong magtungo sa kanya, subalit ipinagbawal sa akin ng Madre Superiora na dumalaw sa mga naghihingalo. Kung kaya, ipinagdasal ko na lang ang abang kaluluwang iyon sa aking silid. Subalit nang marinig ko na balisa pa rin siya at walang nagsasabi kung gaano pa ito magtatagal, bigla ako nakadama ng inspirasyon sa aking kaluluwa at sinabi sa Panginoon, Jesus, kung ang lahat ng ginagawa ko ay nakalulugod sa iyo, hinihiling ko sa iyo bilang katibayan na hayaang mahinto ang paghihirap ng kaluluwang iyon at agad na makarating sa kanyang masayang habang buhay. Ilang minuto kapag daka nabalitaan ko na lamang na pumanaw ang taong iyon ng mapayapa at madali na hindi na halos nila nakuhang magsindiman lang ng kandila. But yesterday, it was the same. Kaya lang yesterday was a general statement. Ngayon, it is a very specific example. Another example of how Faustina was able to help a dying soul, a dying person. Because at this point, she was not already allowed by the Mother Superior to go to the to the dying person to pray because she was sick. And parang I remember saying or telling you that in our culture, tradition, if you are sick, you are not allowed to go to sick persons, to visit sick persons. I remember when my father was also in that situation. He was very sick, and another neighbor is transitioning. We did not allow our father to visit the neighbor kasi nga may sakit. Ang sabi nila, naghihilahan. Alam niyo yun, yung dalawang kaluluwa pag nagbisitahan sila, naghihilahan daw yung kanilang kaluluwa. Such that kapag sinabi naghihilahan, kumbaga, ikaw mauna, hindi ikaw, yung parang ganun ba? Who would die first, parang ganun. So it depends on the level of energy of the sick person. Kung mas mahina yung isa, then mauuna yung isa. Or sometimes, the weaker one would maximize the presence of that person. So, kukunin niya yung lakas ng isa. But it's not actually that. Hindi naman yung parang bumisita ka na may sakit ka sa kanya tapos kukunin niya yung natitira mong buhay and then yung isa yung mauunang mamatay. I don't think it's like that because we already have our destiny. Kumbaga, we're just waiting for the time for, halimbawa sa clock, no? When it is time, the grandfather clock would strike. Pang, 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 clang, clang. No, kasi it's already time. Visiting someone who is weak for a weak person is really not good because she would be giving her energy to that person. So it would weaken her. Hindi ibig sabihin ni mauuna siya mamatay or maghihilhan sila. It's just that it would only affect her level of strength. So ginawa niya, she prayed in her room, praying for that person, connecting to the soul of that person would not weaken her but would actually strengthen her because when we pray for a person, we invoke the mercy of God, we invoke the presence of God or Jesus Himself. So Jesus would be pouring, ibubuhos ni Jesus ang kaniyang grasya, ang kaniyang awa sa taong yun sa pamamagitan natin. Because we are the ones praying, not that person. So sa atin muna dadaan yun. And from us, it would flow to that person. The sick person would receive the grace coming from Jesus. So again, yung pagdarasal natin ng chaplet is very important for someone who is transitioning or passing on. Sapagkat yung Divine Mercy Chaplet, naghahatid ito ng liwanag dun sa isang taong mamatay na. Kapag dumarating ang liwanag dun sa taong yon, lahat ng kaniyang kadiliman na mayroon sa kanyang kaluluwa, natatanggal, tinatamaan ng liwanag. Siyempre, maliwanag yun eh. So, yung kadiliman has no other option but to go. Lalayas at lalayas ang kadiliman. Parang we lighted a candle in a room, in a dark room. The dark room would give way to this light. So, mawawala na yung kadiliman dahil papasok na ang liwanag. Darkness can never put off a light. Hindi niya kayang patayin ang liwanag. Subalit ang liwanag, kaya niyang pawiin ang kadiliman. Ganon ka-powerful ang liwanag. And that light is being carried on by praying the chaplet. So as we continue to pray the chaplet, light is being poured to that soul. Napupuspos ng liwanag ang kaluluwang iyon, kaya mas nakikita niya yung kanyang mga pagkakamali. Mas nakikita niya na ito ang Panginoon nag-aalay sa kanya ng pagkakataon para magbagong buhay. Conversion, no? Conversion of the soul. Hindi man na niya magawa ang pagbabagong buhay sa lupa, definitely, the conversion would proceed along the path, along the journey, along his or her traveling back to the Father. Sa paglalakbay niyang yon, nagkakaroon na ng liwanag. Sapagkat nagkakaroon ng liwanag, nagagabayan ang kanyang daraanan. Yung kanyang dadaanan ay nagiging maliwanag. So, halimbawa, isang gabi, kailangan na nating umuwi. Okay, wala kang flashlight. O, saan ka kukuha ngayon ng liwanag? Maaring kung full moon, makikita mo ang daan. Kasi liwanag yun din binibigay sa'yo. Pero kung wala kahit ano, madilim, ang hirap mga parang isang bulag na madilim ang kanyang paningin, hindi niya nakikita ang dinaraanan niya. So, minsan, kapag hindi niya kabisado yung mga dinaraanan, maliligaw siya o kaya madarapa, mabubunggo. No? Kasi mamaya mo yan, ah, may mga nakaharang pala sa daan mo kasi nga madilim, di mo nakikita. But because we are praying the chaplet, habang nagta-transition yung kaluluwa, so the soul easily finds his way. Susundan niya lang yung liwanag, and at the end of the tunnel, makikita niya yung kanyang destination. So, sabi ng isang pare, malamang naman tayo, when we pass on, most of us, diretso ng purgatorio for the cleansing. Because we were not able to cleanse or pay our debts on earth, when we pass on, didiretso muna tayo doon sa uh, cleansing stage, and that is in purgatory. So in that place, we will have our spiritual bath, maliligo tayo doon para maging ganap na malinis sa pagharap sa Panginoon. How long it would take? It depends on our life on earth, kung paano tayo nabuhay sa mundo. Kung sa mundo marami ka nang nagawang pagbabayad, konti na lang yung spend mo sa kabila, doon sa purgatory. Konti na lang panahon. So actually, purgatory is one of the manifestations of God's mercy. Kasi kung wala niyan, paano ka maglilinis, no? So it is a manifestation of the mercy of God because we are given at the last moment of our life. We are given the opportunity to still rectify, to still pay for our debts. Ngayon nga lang, medyo mahirap magbayad doon. Sabi nila, mas matagal daw, no, kaysa magbayad ka sa lupa. Kasi sa lupa, mas mabilis. No? Pwede mong pabilisin ng mabilis na mabilis, depende on your pace. Pero doon, hindi na. So, medyo mas matagal. We do not know. We haven't been there. But, we will have to go to that place. Doon muna tayo tutungan. So that, while we are reminiscing, habang inaalala natin lahat ng ginawa natin, nagkakaroon na tayo ngayon ng opportunity to pay for our debts. No? Napakaganda ng nandun tayo. Kasi nga, we can never enter heaven unless we are spotless. Kailangan talaga walang ka bahid-bahid ng karumihan. Sapagkat if we would be uniting ourselves or union with God, no, hindi tayo na union with God, if we would be reuniting with our Creator, kasi nga diba sinasabi bumabalik sa tagapaglikha. Ibig sabihin, ano ba ibig sabihin pag bumabalik? Ibig sabihin, doon tayo galing. Because I remember one fellow in the past asking bakit malinis ang isang taong galing sa langit. Of course, kung galing ka sa langit, malinis ka. Dahil kaisa natin doon ang Diyos. And then we are given this life on earth, the soul unites or merge with the physical body. Dito, pagdating natin, marumi because it's the body which is not clean. So pag bumalik tayo, we need to be clean again. Kailangan malinis. Hindi pwedeng marumi sapagkat walang tatanggapin sa langit na marumi. Kailangan hubarin ng tsinelas, kumbaga, no? Pagpasok ka sa templo, kailangan hubarin ng tsinelas. Kailangan naligo ka. Ganun sa tradition ng mga Jew, ng mga Hudyo, no? Malinis na malinis, lalo na ang paa kasi yung paa yung nasa ground, no? Yan yung dumadaan sa dumi, kaya sa ibang tradisyon talaga naglilinis sila ng paa. So, ayun, kaluluwa would be in deeper agony. Depende nga kasi sa naging buhay niya. Kung ang kanyang buhay hindi maganda, maraming kasalanan, mortal sin, those are examples, no? Mas mahaba yung kanyang magiging agony. Ang hirap, nahirapan siya kasi nga sa dami ng kailangan niyang bayaran at that moment of death, pinag-aagawan din ng kanyang kaluluwa ng mga demonyo. Gusto nilang makuha kasi syempre kailangan din nila ng kaluluwa sa kabila, no, yung mga kabilang puwersa. So syempre ang number one target nila ay yung kaluluwa na madumi. No, hindi nila pwedeng kunin ng isang kaluluwa na maliwanag. Kasi nga takot ang mga yan sa liwanag. Kaya yung mga movies, makikita nyo, when we talk about evil, mga ganyan, kahit yung vampires, di ba? Takot sa liwanag. Dahil malulusaw sila sa liwanag. So they have to hide in darkness. Kaya ang kaluluwa, aagawin nila yan. Kapag yung vampire, no, kakainin nila yung kaluluwa. They will feed on the soul of someone who has lived a life full of sin. Yun yung kanilang kukunin. Kaya nag-aagawan sila at that point of death ng isang kaluluwa. Nag-aagawan, akin yan, akin yan, akin yan. Parang ganun, ano? Yun yung exactong description ni Faustina when he saw someone who's dying. No? But then when she prayed the chaplet, yun mismo ngayon dahil nga sa liwanag na dala-dala ng chaplet, nagkakarambulan sa pagtakas sapagkat itong mga nilalang na to ay takot sa liwanag. Iyon naman talaga ang makapapawi sa kanila. Liwanag. Kaya pag tayo ay punong-puno ng liwanag sa lupa pa lang, no? We are able to attract more people. Even sinners. So that even if a priest talks about mercy, mas matindi yun kasi ang pangako ng ating Panginoong Yesus kapag ang kaniyang alagad, yung chosen ones, yung mga pinili in the vineyard, kapag itong nagpahayag ng awa ng Diyos, grabe bumababa ang kapangyarihan ng ating Panginoon sa pari, to the priest. Kaya kaya nilang i-convert yung maraming kaluluwa because of the light that is being carried on and passed on. So, kumbaga naaambunan, umaambon yung liwanag, tumatagos sa mga nakikinig sa pare. So, ang ganda pala, no? Tuwing homily, kung ang homily would center on the mercy of God, lagi naman pwedeng iugnay yan, no? Jesus will use that priest, gaya na ipinangako niya, no? He will use the priest, he will empower the priest to convert more souls. Tayo hindi natin kailangan maging pare para gawin yun. Kapag tayo napupuspos ng awa para sa ating kapwa, dadaloy din ang liwanag ng Panginoon sa atin. And even if we encounter people who are not dying, kahit hindi sila mamamatay, we would be able to convert that soul. Kaya natin yung dalhin sa liwanag.